Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be pulling Void Shards today, guys, because it's a ×2 Void Shard event, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've got about 28 on this one, and I think I've probably got about 30 on my other account. So 60 Void Shards in total. Let's see if we get a legendary. Before we get into that though, guys, I just want to say I absolutely messed up with greathoofloriaca is what I'm going to call her. I was grinding away last week. I completed the Ice Golem event, the Ice Golem tournament, and I was just moving on to the Champion Training Tournament. And I was grinding away, making chickens, doing all of the normal stuff that we all do. And I thought to myself, I'm not getting any tournament points for this. Maybe it's a Champion Training event rather than a tournament. It went on for a while, and I kept going and kept grinding. And then I realised that the event had finished, the tournament had finished, so I wasn't making points for it because it didn't exist anymore. So I absolutely messed up on that one. I've lost out on the 5 fragments. I should be on 60 now, but I've messed up. I did work out last week in my last video that because this fragment event has 2 summon rushes, it was going to cost me loads of resources. I normally save up sacred shards for these sorts of events for the summon rush, and then I rely on the ×2 events, like for example this weekend, the Void Shards. I rely on them for the other lot of points, but they're doing 2 fusion events on this one for this fragment summons, and I don't have the resources for it. As you can see, I have, well, I mean, I say I haven't got the resources for it. I've managed to save up 7 sacred shards, which would, knowing what these tournaments are like, knowing what these events are like, that should be enough to get me the points. But I don't want to spend 14 sacred shards on this fusion. It's not a very good fusion in the first place. So yeah, so what I'm going to have to do, guys, I'm going to have to spend those points, but I'm going to try and avoid using my sacreds to see if I can maybe get away with maybe chunking out some ancients and the rest with mystery shards. I won't record if I'm doing the mystery shards because it's going to be an outrageous amount of time spent doing it. But I thought I'd let you guys know. I am still going to go for the fusion. I just don't know how it's going to sort of end up. Maybe I could do a mixture of sort of ancients and sacreds. I don't know how it's going to go yet. I need to wait till the event's live and then sort of figure it all out and go from there. Enough of that though, guys. Let's get into pulling shards. I just want to say my big wishes for this week. I'm looking for a Krisk. I'm looking for an Acrizia. I'm looking for a Baron. You know, I want the big Void champions. I want those legendary ones that people throw their computer across the room when they get it. I want one of those this week. I don't know if I'm going to get it. When I got Sifi on this account, on my Kale account, I was pretty gobsmacked. Go back and watch that video because it's a pretty good one, and I was a loss for words. So I want another champion that's going to make me lose my words and make me just sit here in silence and appreciate what I've got. So I've got 28 shards, guys, but before I get into it, please like this video and subscribe to the page. I really appreciate it. I'm on 61 subscribers at the moment. My biggest goal at the moment is to get to 100 subscribers. So subscribing to my channel really means a lot to me. It really shows me that people are appreciating my content and appreciating what I do. Let's get into it. So the first 10 pull. I've only got 2 10 pulls. Let's hope for a legendary. I mean, there isn't many of the big epics that I necessarily need anymore. There's a Lure in there and a Cold Heart. I'm not going to go into their kits necessarily. I'm going to go into a kit if it's a legendary. I mean, for a first 10 pull, having Lure, Cold Heart, and Renegade in there, that's a pretty good 10 pull. Everyone else they're all right, but I'm never going to build them up. I'm never going to use them. Cold Heart obviously is well known for her max HP damage. Lure is good for crowd control, I think. Is it Lure that's good for crowd control? No, Lure is a damage dealer. That's what she is. She's an absolute damage dealer. Her A3 will ignore shield and block damage. So she's a damage dealer. That's Lure. She's a pretty good champion. I think I do have her maybe 15, and I have used her, but not too much. And then Renegade, as everyone knows, resets the skills of your team. So you can use her for sort of wave content like Doom Tower or Dungeon Waves. On to the next 10 pull, guys. Let's go. A Krisk, and I'll be happy. It's a big ask, but you know, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I'm going to go for it. That's my big wish, a Krisk, and I'll be pretty over the moon, I think, if I got a Krisk. Nothing on this one so far. Broadmoor, which you can fuse yourself, and a Draconis, who can he's a shield champion. He's got one of these shields on a 3-turn. I thought it was a 2-turn. I thought he was a bit like Metal Shaper and you could use him with the Scarabos in Doom Tower, but apparently not. I think he's quite good if you're going to use him in early game sort of wave content and that sort of thing. So that's it for the 2 10 pulls. I'll pull these last 8. Fingers crossed we get a legendary, but it's not looking good. A Genbo. I've got more than enough Genbos. I don't need another one. Genbo's a great champion though, great damage dealer. I still see him in quite a lot of arena as a damage dealer. So yeah, he's a good champion. Bloat Wraith is not for me. Moving on. A rare, a Paragon, used for the Paragon cheese, because if you create him with the right speed, he can put his unkillable buff on all the time, so it's just unkillable. You see him a lot as like a deterrent in arena defense, because you just never kill him. So if you're trying to be competitive in arena, you want to be able to kill champions fast, move on to the next fight, get as many points as you can. On to the next one though, we don't need to talk about Paragon. Another rare. Harvester is a no for me, thank you. On to the next one, another rare. Fnatic. I think a really cool skin for Fnatic, but not a champion I'm ever going to build or even look into the kit of. So moving on. A legendary, I mean, a second man-eater would always be, or a first man-eater on this account would always be nice. Reliquary Tender, actually a really good rare. Probably, I would say, one of the best rares in the game. A Revive on the A3 on a 5-turn cooldown is pretty good when you're early game. So if you can pull this champion and level her and book her, she's a really good champion to have. I still use her in some content. I use her for the remove all debuffs from your allies. I use her in Agref in Doom Tower, the spider. So yeah, still a good champion, even when I'm in sort of middle hard Doom Tower. I'm in the middle floors of hard Doom Tower and I still use her. So maybe that's one of my mistakes, so maybe I need to stop using her and use her a legendary or something like that. On to the next one. Let's hope legendary, another epic. Basha's one of those really underrated champions. I think he's really good for Faction Wars, I think. So he's got attacks all enemies, increases the cooldown of all target skills by 2 turns. He just locks out champions. In Faction Wars, when you get onto the later stages, he absolutely can just lock out other champions, your enemies, and you can just sort of whittle down their health while they can't do any of their big moves. They can only A1, and I think he's a really underrated champion. So yeah, Basha, I'm not going to build him because I think I've probably already got one built. I don't know if I've ever 60'd him, but he's had gear and everything like that, and he's fully ascended at 50, I think. And then the last Void Shard, if it's not a legendary, I'm going to be pretty upset, and it's not, it's a rare. And it's probably the worst rare, the worst Void rare, the one that everyone moans about, and the one that used to create quite a lot of lag when you used to pull him, so people used to think he was a legendary. Right, what I'll do, guys, I'll go onto the other account, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, here we are on the Glek account. I did forget to say there is a champion chase tournament going on at the moment for the ×2 voids. I'll just pull it up and show you guys what's for grabs. So we've got a little bit of energy, one of the small soul stones, 2 legendaries and 1 epic book and a 5-star chicken. If you come first, you can get an arbiter skin, which I'll show you in a minute, and the 6 artifacts of legendary relentless gear and a big boy soulstone. So if you can come first, that's pretty good rewards. I don't stand a chance. On my other account, this person's on 5 digits. I don't stand a chance at all. But if you want to go for it, if you have loads of money and loads of spare void shards, then go for it. If you win, you get some good rewards, I would say. So it's definitely worth going for. It doesn't count towards the fusion, which it normally would. Polarium and Raid have seemed to have changed things up a little bit, but yeah, this tournament's definitely going on, and it's definitely got some good rewards just for pulling shards, you know. So I think that's pretty good. I've just pulled all the rewards on my other account. I got one of the legendary books, but not the other. So not many points, but you know, it's always good to get free stuff for doing something you enjoy doing, like I enjoyed pulling shards. So 28 void shards on this one. I've had some pretty good luck on my Glek account over the years. You know, maybe potentially not with voids, but I got the Necrat. I've got Georgid. You know, I've got some pretty good luck out of my voids. One of my first legendaries that I had was actually Angar, which people don't rate Angar, but he definitely got me through the game. He definitely was my best crowd control champion I had. I put him in a frost set, And because he's got a provoke, all the enemies were provoked by him and hitting him, and then they would freeze themselves. So once I got Seal for my login reward, the combination between Seal and Angar actually got me through like lower level dungeons and stuff like that. They were really helpful for me. So I think I've been pretty lucky on this account for Void Champions, and obviously on my other account I got Sifi recently. So some would say that's quite good luck. What I'll do, guys, I'll just jump straight into it. So for the first 10 pull, again, my dream is exactly the same no matter which account I'm on. I want Krisk or an Acrizia, basically. They're the two big champions that I want. They're the two big champions. I really enjoy PvE content. So they're the two big champions that are really going to help me in PvE content. I got the Georgian. Georgian is great and really good champion, but I'm not really competitive in Arena, so it's kind of lost on my account, to be honest. Maybe one day I'll get into Arena and I'll use him a lot more, but at the moment I'm very PvE based. So yeah, I don't have a use for Georgian at this time. But on this temple, guys, nothing of importance. All rares, which is really sad to see. Reliquary Tender is the only shout-out champion. Maybe Veteran because he's got a decreased attack on his A1. He's quite good for early clan boss. Everyone else can just go. Oh, and Bulwark has a increased debuff chance on one of his skills, so that's also quite good for early clan boss. Everyone else pretty trash. So moving on to the second 10 pull, 28 voids and a Krisk dream. That's all I want, and I don't think I'm going to get it. So, no one of note yet. An Azure is the only epic, which is pretty sad to see. The only epic I've pulled out of 20 already, so it's not very good. Come on, game. I want legendaries. That's all I want. Let's pull these 8 individually, and we'll see how it goes. Another rare. Not interested. Just a card. I can fuse you. I have fused you, and then I fed you. So I'm not very impressed with you. A Godseeker, a Neri, a great champion. I'm actually looking at building Godseeker in line with Walking Tomb Dreng to be able to do the sand dungeon. What's it called? Why can't I remember? The Sand Devil's Necropolis. So I'm currently farming stage 10, but I've seen a really good build with either a Ninja or a Walking Tomb Dreng, where you use Godseeker and Neri's ability to revive and use a skill off the bat, and I've seen people doing stage 25 or maybe even stage 20 with this comp. So it's something I'm looking to do. I don't have the regen gear to be able to. I don't have the good enough regen gear with good enough speed to be able to build the team that I want. But I am currently looking into her to sort of build that team. So Godseeker and Neri, really good champion. I should have gone into her kit, but let's just move on. We'll see if we get that legendary. Another epic, great to see. Not a very good one. Tuhuck the Wanderer. I'm not going to look into this kit. I've had Tuhuck and I've never built him. He's not a champion that impresses me. So moving on swiftly. A Dilgol, not interested. Not a rare. Don't need rares. Another rare. Cage Bound, not interested. On to the last 3 guys. A Krisk, let's go. Nope. Arbalester. Not another rare. Another rare. Cage Bound again. And then the last one, guys. Fingers crossed, let's go. A rare. Interceptor. Not very impressed with those results, guys. I'll go into the tournament, just see what we've got. Not even up to the legendaries, into the legendary book, which is really sad. Definitely not going to come first in this tournament. But there we go, guys. It's just a bit of fun, these sorts of weekends. It doesn't go towards anything. It's just pulling shards for the sake of pulling shards. So any reward is better than none. Through the week, through next week and through this weekend, I'm going to be working on the fusion, guys. As I always say, these fragments, even if it's not a very good champion now, might get buffed in the future. And it's definitely a guaranteed champion if you can hit all of the points. So a guaranteed legendary, which, as you've just seen from the shard pool, you don't get all the time. So that's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.